Okay, let's dive right in.
Let's go.
We're taking a close look today at a fashion trend that, well, our source material says is really making waves right now in 2025.
And that's the large golden flower statement earrings.
Exactly. Big, bold, floral.
Yeah. And our guide for this deep dive, it's an article from Jewelry Bubble. It's called 2025 Trend Alert: How to Style Large Golden Flower Statement Earrings. Like a pro complete guide inside.
Right. So, our mission today, really for you listening, is to get past just the headline. We want to unpack why this specific trend is being highlighted.
And how the article suggests you can actually style these pretty bold pieces effectively.
Yeah. And also, what makes a quality pair according to this source? Because that matters too.
Definitely. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding this whole fashion moment.
Okay, so it's interesting that such a specific thing, these earrings, gets called out as the trend.
It is. And the article, it makes a pretty strong case for why these large floral statement pieces are supposedly it right now.
All right, so what's the argument then? According to this source, why these earrings? Why now in 2025?
Well, the author points out they kind of hit this sweet spot. They fit with that whole maximalist jewelry trend, bigger's better, make a statement.
Sure, we've seen a lot of that.
But what makes these specific floral ones stand out, or so the article claims, is that they manage to be incredibly wearable, even though they're big.
Wearable maximalism. Okay, that sounds a bit like a contradiction. How do they explain that?
It seems to come down to the actual design. The source really emphasizes they aren't just flat cutouts.
Ah,
They have a dimensional, sort of layered petal structure, sculptural.
right, with depth.
Exactly.
Oh.
That quality with petals overlapping, creating shadows and highlights, that's key. Because, as the article points out, it catches the light beautifully.
Okay, so the way the light plays on them is important.
Yeah, they argue the interaction adds, like, instant elegance, but without being too heavy or, overly gaudy.
Ah, I see. So it's the craftsmanship, the form, the light that takes it from just big to elegant statement. Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trending because they blend that boldness with wearability and they look good. But for you listening, the practical thing is always, how do you actually style them without feeling like you're wearing costume jewelry?
Right. And the article promises foolproof ways, which is quite a claim.
Foolproof. Okay, let's test that.
It really leans into this idea of versatility. The author suggests they work for loads of different occasions.
Okay, let's break that down. What about dressing them up, like for an evening out?
For an elegant evening look, they suggest the classic pairing. Sleek black dress, hair up in an updo.
Standard elegance formula.
Pretty much. And the core idea here, which you see repeated, is letting the earrings be the star, the hero piece.
Makes sense?
Yeah, the article is explicit. Keep other jewelry really minimal.
That's such a key tip for any statement piece, isn't it? Don't let things compete.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let it do the talking.
Okay, so what about the other end of the spectrum, like super casual?
Well, this is where that wearable idea really gets tested, according to the source. They suggest just throwing these on with a simple white tee and jeans.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for weekend casual elegance. The whole argument is that statement earrings, like these golden flowers, can instantly elevate even the most basic outfit, making you look, intentionally put together with almost zero effort elsewhere.
That contrast is interesting. A plain white tee, super basic, with something that elaborate. It puts a lot of pressure on the earring itself to deliver the style.
It really does. It has to carry the look.
Okay. The article also dives into specific pro styling tips. Beyond the outfit pairings, what are the sort of essential rules from this guide?
Right. The commandments. First up, hair. Super important.
Okay.
The source strongly advises styles that keep the earrings visible. So, updos, sideswept styles, anything that doesn't hide them.
Makes total sense, pointless otherwise.
Exactly. And they double down on the jewelry layering advice, or rather, the lack of it.
Ah, the less is more part.
Yes. They reiterate, less is more, specifically saying, skip a statement necklace. The guide's very clear. No competing neckwear with these big earrings.
Got it. One major piece at a time. Wise advice. Any guidance on what colors work best with the gold?
Yeah, they actually list colors that supposedly complement the golden tone really well. Think neutrals, earth tones.
Okay, the easy ones.
And also rich jewel colors. So it gives you a decent palette to start with when you're thinking about what to wear with them.
That's helpful. Gives you a clear direction when you're standing in front of your closet. And there was even a tip about face shape. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was a specific detail they included. The article makes this claim that the curved floral design is particularly flattering for square and round faces.
Hmm. That's quite specific, going beyond just they look nice to why they might work for certain people.
Mm-hmm. A bit more technical.
Okay, so we've covered why they're supposedly trending, how the author suggests styling them for all these different looks, those pro tips. But if you're thinking, okay, maybe I want a pair, what does the source say defines quality? What should you actually look for?
Right, because not all statement earrings are created equal. The article shifts focus here to what makes a piece worth investing in.
Implying there's a difference between a cheap trend piece and something better.
Exactly. And they circle back to that dimensional, lifelike design, the layered petals catching the light. That's presented not just as style, but as a quality indicator. It suggests better craftsmanship.
Okay, so complexity and detail signal a better made earring. What else? Practical stuff.
Oh yeah, practical elements are crucial. The article lists a secure post backing, essential for comfortable all-day wear.
Definitely. You don't want an earring that feels like it's about to fall off or one that droops uncomfortably.
No, comfort and security are key for wearability, especially with a larger piece, and for people with sensitivities.
Good point. Metals can be tricky.
The source specifically highlights looking for lead and nickel compliant materials. This is framed as another quality marker.
Suggesting responsible manufacturing and consideration for wearers. That's important.
Very. It makes them accessible to more people. And then there's the actual size.
Right. How big is too big?
Well, they talk about versatile sizing, which isn't about them being small. Obviously, they're statement pieces. It's more about being impactful without being overwhelmingly large or heavy. Finding that balance where they get noticed, make the statement, but still feel, integrated and comfortable.
That distinction between impactful and overwhelming is pretty crucial for statement jewelry, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So connecting this back for you, the listener,
Yeah.
these details, the craftsmanship in the design, that secure backing, the material choices for sensitivity, the considered sizing, this is what the article suggests, lifts an accessory from just being trendy to being something that's actually wearable, comfortable, and gives you the impact you want.
Right. It really underscores that even for a bold trend like this, the author values the practical stuff just as much as how it looks.
Mm-hmm. And the article wraps up by mentioning the author learned this stuff through trial and error.
Yeah, which makes the advice feel a bit more grounded, like it's come from real-world experience, not just fashion theory. And they invite readers to share their own tips, too.
Right, building a community around the trend. Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive. We've pulled out the source's view on why these golden flower earrings are apparently a big deal for 2025.
That balance of bold design and wearability.
How they suggest styling them, from casual jeans right up to formal events, using those specific techniques like managing hair and other jewelry.
Yeah, those pro tips.
And finally, what this guide says you should look for in terms of quality markers if you're tempted to try the trend.
It definitely simplifies the approach.
Yeah.
Gives you clear guidelines based on, well, at least one person's experience.
And that brings us to a final thought for you to chew on, drawing from this article's core idea. How might focusing on really mastering just one or two specific versatile statement pieces like these golden flower earrings, they describe how might that actually simplify your whole approach to getting dressed? Could it let you create a whole range of distinct looks with fewer items, but maybe more impact?
It's an interesting thought, like curating a few powerful accessories instead of having tons of okay ones. A potential shift in how you think about building your personal